Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Yes, and if you hear any strange noises in the background, it's Zeke cracking rib bones.
Yeah, Zeke likes to be heard. Sometimes it's his fingernails, but today it's probably going to be rib.
Talk about things being heard, and let me just double check, make sure we're okay over here. Yes, we are. This blast was really quite amazing, I think, for so many of us that follow the earth changes and the augmented earth changes.
Yes. Which, we got to keep a track of it all. There's different dimensional layers of this. And the more we can understand, I think we should just be able to understand everything that happens on our planet.
How big was this? That's the question. And, it obviously looks awful big from space looking down via satellite, technology. And we're going to share with you at the end a message that came from the Galactic Federation about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little curious what they had to say, but could you imagine if this thing were just even a tiny, tiny bit bigger? I mean, it would have been, wow.
Well, again, we don't know if this is, an isolated event. Is there going to be something bigger? Was this the big one? We're expecting things to come that are going to be pretty large as far as volcanic activity and eruptions, because, we're seeing most definitely an uptick in the earth changes. But again, what we've gotten is that if the technologies weren't involved, it's almost like the technologies involved are putting us many decades ahead of what would be transpiring with Mother Earth naturally. And we see the global effects of Mount Pinatubo. You remember Mount Pinatubo? That was a big eruption. That was on June 15th, 2001. It erupted in the Philippines. And this ejected a lot of ash and gas high into the atmosphere. And this eruption, from the science that they're giving us, cooled the Earth off as much as 1 degree Fahrenheit or 0.6 degrees Celsius. And, the question is, as we were talking this morning via message with our good friend, David Devine over at DAP 2030, and he was trying to do calculations, and, he's thinking this is going to cool us off. And this is the greater trend. The guides, the Galactic Federation, has said the trend will be towards cooling, although they don't expect us to necessarily go into a day after tomorrow scenario. Now, that could change if the whole premise for that was basically the Gulf Stream shutting down, and it is, slowing. We know it's slowing. So all these things, again, would be happening at a much more gradual pace if it wasn't for all the technology out there. When you think about this, here's Tonga right there, right? And you see this big ridge. When you think about how far away the impact was, as you can see the west coast of the United States over here, and here we could see Peru, which may be our retirement home in some time, in the future, maybe another 10, 15 years. Of course, we won't be right on the coast. Nope. No. Think about that. Think about the effects of this. This was incredible. And we see tsunami did hit Peru, 10,000 kilometers from Tonga. Not only that, unfortunately, 2 people lost their lives in Peru because of that tsunami. That's just staggering to think about it. But again, this was a staggering eruption.
Yeah, it was something else. And we've had family members that definitely didn't know that this occurred, but they most certainly felt the shockwaves in a very emotional way. So I know that there was, like, across the earth, there was some sort of energy wave that hit so many people that are already sensitive.
Yeah, we had family members in New Zealand that literally heard it.
Yeah.
Literally heard it. And then we had family members all the way up in Oklahoma that could sense it and did sense it.
Yeah, and our family members in New Zealand, she said that there was all dogs running with their tails between their legs. She said she couldn't imagine if it were like constant bombing. It would be very, very traumatic.
So was this a once in a thousand year explosion, or is this, as some others are saying, a once in a 30-year explosion? Well, here's Peru, and you could see the water. It's where it isn't usually. And, there was, I saw one comment saying that the flooding in California was just due to a king tide. It had nothing to do with the explosion. And I don't, anyway, you could see the water rushing in Peru. Now, yes, we have talked about the fact that there's been tons of articles about tsunami bombs. That's a reality, but this feels like this was all connected.
Oh, it does. It feels very connected, almost like kind of a domino type thing.
But again, we have gotten that this was involving technology triggering this event. And, again, this is Peru. This is 10,000 kilometers away. 10,000 kilometers away. And you could see the water, coming in. And, in fact, it wasn't even just Peru. And this one, this just shows you, again, you should not take things for granted. And people in this crazy world of, taking selfies as they're running away from danger.
It's so important. Get my selfie. Are you getting this self? Oh, thank God.
I'm going to be famous. Yeah, after I'm no longer on the planet.
I know. I just hope everybody truly is safe. And I mean, could you imagine if that actually happened to you? Could you imagine? What are you thinking? Are you thinking your final thoughts? Are you thinking, oh my God, is this it? I mean, what's going through her head? This is really traumatic.
It seems like the only thing going through her head is, I got to keep the camera above water.
And somebody else grabs it. Yeah. Wow. I would be running for my life. I wouldn't be getting myself on camera. No way. No way.
You just don't know how big. And,
Right.
and meanwhile, down there, he's beating that tree to death.
Yeah, he is.
He's going to have to hang on to that tree.
Yeah.
It's just, again, this crazy world that we live in. And this is Santa Cruz, California. So was this just a king tide? Was this a technology? Well, again, what we've gotten is this is definitely related to the Tonga eruption. And again, the Tonga eruption, what we've gotten from the Galactic Federation is that this is involving a technology. And it may surprise you what they're going to say about this technology. And let's just say that there's technologies buried inside the earth, hidden inside the earth, and they've been there for thousands and thousands of years in some cases.
Absolutely. A lot of these things are very difficult for us to even comprehend.
Yeah, and again, looking at these eruptions, it was just incredible to see this. Most definitely, this is a major event. As you see here, they're calling it a VE5, Millennium Eruption of Tonga. But in this article farther down, it says, well, it could have even been a VEI6. When you get to VEI7s, you're talking about events that can lead to many ice ages like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I've been thinking. Had this thing just been a little bit bigger, could you imagine? And this is what we have going on now. This is what we are able to experience in these times. What's to come.
So, again, the challenges is going to be in supplying food, and really cold is much more challenging than warmth. And we know there's been this whole global warming. We also know that, we have to look at everything that's given to us by the mainstream, not only with a weary eye, but almost wonder, okay, whatever they're saying is this, I think we should probably look towards the opposite. Yeah. Because again, this is just the way it works here. And they're warning it could be signs of increased activities. So again, wherever you are, is it challenging because of the cold weather to grow food? Now, this will affect the southern hemisphere more than the northern hemisphere. Yet overall, what would it look like if we did cool off more? Would it be more challenging wherever you are finding yourself located? And as we shared with you, we realize now, even though we don't really often go below freezing where we are. It's kind of a rarity. So far, I think even through this thick of winter, so to speak, we only drop below freezing maybe once every 10, 15 days, but yet that's enough to take out stuff in the greenhouse if you don't have some heating going on in the greenhouse. And, those of you that haven't seen, we have a 20 by 10 greenhouse that we've utilized. And some stuff is doing fabulous in there. Like the oregano seems to love the cooler weather. And other stuff, gave up the spirit, so to speak. Our pepper plants, which I was thrilled. I was getting peppers in January without heating something. But yeah, okay. So we know we can't push it too much. And if it gets colder, then we're going to have to be aware of that. And the Tonga eruption was likely the world's largest in 30 years. Now, Pinatubo, again, we're talking back in 2001. So we do see that the Fine Diningware country is willing to offer assistance to tsunami-hit Tonga. No deaths or injuries of Chinese nationals in this strong volcanic eruption, but we don't know how many. It's unclear right now what has really happened on that island. Again, this is Santa Cruz, California, and this Soquel Creek usually flows the other way.
That's amazing. I've seen this happen before, but not like this.
Absolutely. So again, if you are directly on the beach, and in normal times, I would be on a freaking beach.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I'm definitely an ocean person, not even a lake person. I'm an ocean person. I want to be on the water, and yet we find ourselves hundreds of miles inland. Because of the times that we're in. So Fort Myers, our family members, we have some, definitely we have a lot of beloved family members over in Florida and in Southwest Florida, and you're looking at damage due to tornado in Fort Myers. Judy,
Yeah,
I hope Judy's doing okay down there, because this is in her backyard area. As we see this tornado, yes, I'm very familiar with seeing those things. Actually, when we were in Mississippi, we were watching one form directly over our head, and it did cause damage about a mile down the road. We just started to do mantras, and we had our little bubble of protection up, but it did end up manifesting 1 mile down the road. And here again, you could see it, San Carlos Bay area, Sanibel Causeway. Beautiful area know very, very well. Hope everybody is okay. And it did overturn a semi on I-75 in Collier. Crazy times we are living in. And as we look at it, we see we did have the KP index. As you can see on the 15th, it went up to a 6. And then at a 5, and then it raised back up on the 16th to a 5. So we'll watch that as we've been watching the space weather.
Mm-hmm. I know we have a lot of things that we need to keep an eye on, because this is a multi-level, multi-layer event we have going on. And I believe we also have Miss Jenny over there too. I don't know how close she is, but she's in the area, and a lot of people affected through all these different layers of energy. This is far more than just what we see on the surface.
Absolutely. So we're going to share a message that we got from Laurel, and she's talking. And again, this is Laurel, who is on the Pleiadian High Council and also part of the Galactic Federation. And she is a 5th density being, as we've talked about these different densities. And again, if there was none of the things going on upon the earth to slow the ascension process, pretty much everybody more than likely would find their next incarnation in 5D. And 5D is basically, we could view it in many ways as a much more heavenly realm, where you can manifest positive realities for yourself much easier than you could do here during the Kali Yuga. And we've been in 3D, and we're about to step in, and we will be stepping into 4D where basically it's like the Australian Aboriginals have said, the return to dreamtime. Dreamtime is 4D, so when we are in the sleeping state, we're on 4D, and we're going to find that when we're in the waking state, we're in 4D as well, and that's going to be a shift for many people, and many people already notice that reality is kind of feeling weird. Things don't feel quite the same as they used to.
Right, things are definitely changing.
Think about how drastic the changes are. I remember when one of the big topics everybody would talk about was, the sun used to be more yellow-orange, and now it's kind of white. And now we've just kind of gotten used to the sun being a different color. And of course, there's so much aluminum, barium, and other things up there, all these different particulates, nanu,
Yep.
up in the atmosphere, floating around, wafting into the lungs of everything on the planet. And we've kind of gotten used to that reality, so we don't even really think about it anymore so much. But Laurel is going to speak about what happened and, what else is going on.
Through.
Yes, thank you.
Hello, Michael.
Namaste, Laurel.
Namaste. We are witnessing the planetary changes you are experiencing. We are trying to hold your planet in a stable position. We can see from our area map the disturbances in your oceans. We wanted to express to you that the entities who are responsible for this lie just outside of your visible spectrum. These are fourth density entities that also take advantage of technologies that were placed around your planet and inside of your planet to keep her stabilized during the golden years. As the dissension occurred, these forces have gained control over these technologies, and they use it for their own purposes, controlling areas as they wish. We are able in many circumstances to restabilize your planet with our own technologies. We are limited to our interference. As you know, we cannot take total control of your free will to come to this planet and assist others out of this darkness. We understand that many people wish for us to simply take control and create a paradise on earth for them, but this is not part of how Source expresses itself. Too much interference of Source's natural expression can cause further dissension in the evolutionary process. We are looking at this from a much different standpoint than many of the humans on planet Earth. We can see things from different dimensions and understandings. We do not, we will not create further dissension on your planet by interference. Those who came here to be light workers, such as yourself, are using this opportunity to advance your spiritual growth, and entities that interfere with this, despite what others may think and feel, we can see the much bigger picture that is before you. We wish to see you advance and create your own heaven on earth with your creative energies. Your collective creative energies are what can reduce these situations where these group of entities are taking control of the planetary technology. You have the ability to sever these cords so that they no longer can control these technologies in your collective consciousness.
Besides just waking up more people, is there anything else we can be doing to accelerate the positive changes that must come?
You cannot underestimate your own personal growth and how this experience can change timelines. Your personal growth and healing creates a ripple effect throughout time, space, and can change timelines in a way that is far beyond your understanding. We are unable to show you the differences that you create, but we hope that you can understand what we are telling you when it comes to your own personal growth and healing, and how this can change timelines for the benefit of others without artificial involvement. This is in accordance to source energy, confirming its experience in the ether and bringing the experience back to source to be understood and reabsorbed into the ether, which causes positive growth moving forward.
Is there any, after that volcanic eruption, there's been a lot of feels like unusual weather and unusual repercussions. Are they planning to trigger something bigger, similar, or is there just more to come in relation to this event?
We are doing our best to shield and stop any further occurrences. We feel that if they are able to use these technologies currently, that they will continue to try again. People should remain prepared with a very positive outlook on life. This will correct negative effects on the timeline as people's collective energy is very important to the events that can be created upon your planet. A collective belief system can sever these cords of control. It can create harmony and love of life and understanding. These earth changes are never easy. It is very important that we bring to you an understanding of what it means for soul growth and what it means when we change our vibration to a more positive outcome. The earth is then also able to create a more positive timeline through your intentions and your vibrations. She feels strong when her children are at higher vibrations. She can better create safe circumstances for those who might need them. She feels the feet of her children upon her skin. She knows where entities are located. She has great detail in the understanding of where humans are. She does everything she can to keep those safe, as any mother would protect her children. You can see the energy of a mother who has lost a child. This saddens the mother or the nurturer to a point of deep depression. She does not want her children ever to be harmed. When humans put off a positive vibration, this brings her strength to keep these areas protected for those humans and other animals. She has a way of cleaning her environment and processing energies to cleanse her body. But it must be done in a natural way and not due to artificial means. She has a program of understanding her own needs. These entities interfere in this understanding. They interfere in her ability to process and cleanse her body properly, this can lead to situations where humans are left in an unsafe situation. If you are able to connect with the earth and connect your heart chakra to her center, to her heart chakra, she will feel this. She will do everything she can to protect this energy as she feels the love that is pulling between herself and yourself. This is what we wish for people to focus on, is focusing on tying their loving emotions to the center of the earth to assist her in her healing process. The light anchors that are on your planet are just that. They are anchors of light that hold on to the center of the planet and help stabilize her, and she is better able to protect those who are in danger of earth changes. She would never, under any circumstances, put any human entity or any living creature in harm's way. With her natural ways and her natural abilities, left alone, this planet would be completely harmonious. There would be no disease, no disruptions, no mental disturbances, as everything would flow together in the oneness that she seeks.
I think that's a good point to, conclude that message from Laurel, Galactic Federation, Pleiadian High Council. Again, what we see on this planet, what we've been brought up with, is not how it's supposed to be. And so, realizing that and realizing where we're heading, even though we have so much chaos ahead of us, it's chaos that we have to wade through in order to get out of this system, which is one of self-destruction when you get down to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the most important thing moving forward is to be able to blend ourselves, tie ourselves to the earth and her harmonious energies. Then this is the best way to make things, if you're listening to this show, you're most definitely a light anchor, and doing what she's asking to anchor yourself to the center of the earth is something very, very important that can be done moving forward. And there's so many different layers of understandings. Like, this is one layer that the Galactics gave us an understanding of, but then you can listen to other people who are experts on other things and they can give you further details. But ultimately, what we want to be able to do is go back to the harmonious patterns where humans knew exactly where to go. They knew exactly what to do because they were able to pick up the messages from the mother, go here, go there, do this, do that. If you're not feeling well, try this plant. I mean, we had absolute communication before we were disturbed, and we need to head back in that direction.
As we've shared, and it will blow people's minds because all they've known is this system. When you're out of the Kali Yuga, the human lifespan excels because this is our natural state of things. And there's 4 yugas, of which the Dark Age, we see what our lifespans are. Going into what we would call the Bronze Age, they say, according to the Vedic texts, that humans could live 1,000 years. 1,000 years. And then when we get to the Silver, it's 10,000 years. And when we get to the Gold, it's 100,000 years. And again, that's probably relative. Yet it's just showing us the potential And just think about the wisdom that can be acquired in a lifetime of 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000. The reason why we're kept into lower lifespans is so that knowledge cannot abound, and so that by the time we're starting to gather some wisdom, then it's time to leave the earth realm. And we see the lifespan declining on the planet now. Again, this is all due to technologies and the system itself. There are technologies that are put in place in these golden and silver ages, which are all about keeping the earth in harmony, and they've been hijacked and used for the exact opposite. And we could look to all sorts of things, including the pyramids even. And there's been differing thoughts on whether the pyramids are beneficial or are they part of the control grid. Well, originally they were beneficial, now they're part of the control grid. This is what happens when these dark entities hijack our experience. And now we are going to be breaking free. And again, how do we break free? By getting outside of the system, creating alternatives and making it so that they are no longer looked to for any sort of leadership. Make them irrelevant. That's the bottom line. Recognize, wake up with that divine power that lies within every single one of us to co-create our own positive reality. Throw the system away, because it needs to be discarded. If they want to build all their rocket ships, then they're welcome to leave the earth, because the earth would be a much better place without them.
Right. And to get things to their most harmonious state, one needs to first work on healing themselves. That's the most important thing right now, is heal yourself, heal your heart chakra, so that heart chakra is functioning at its best. And once that happens, we heal more as a collective. And then once that happens, that collective intertwines itself with the earth, and then we are all healing and healed together. And that's where we want to go.
Exactly. So this is a trial by fire in so many ways at how we're going to react. And, it might be our natural tendency to want to strike out and lash out against, the darkness that's upon the world. But really, we need to focus on picking each other up. As we keep picking each other up, showing each other ways that we could lift up our own personal vibrations, then we start to really make a big impact upon the planet.
Oh, yeah. And that's something she pointed out, is do not underestimate your own healing and what that can bring, what expansions that can bring to the planet.
Absolutely. So as always, guys, we want to thank you for your support. We couldn't do it without you. The support we get on Patreon. Also, all those that are supporting medicinal foods. Great people over there as well. Great products help you in your cleansing and your nutritional requirements. Get out there and let the sun shine on your face. Feel the earth, feel the Mother Earth under your feet, and root yourself, because she is ascending. And so, not every human, because there are humans that are unfortunately buying into the system. Not every human is ascending, but we want as many as possible to ascend.
Right. And there's some people out there who might not be able to actually get out and get your feet on the earth. Please focus on anchoring your heart light to the center of the earth. That gives her great strength.
Yes. And, another technique that I used to use all the time was just standing in the sunshine on a wooden floor or a stone floor, and just, again, trying to get exposed to the sunshine. And it doesn't matter if, there's concrete or wood or what have you beneath your feet. You just visualize your roots coming out of your feet and anchoring you to the mother. Again, this is part of the imbalance. They've always wanted to disconnect us from the mother, because when we're disconnected from the mother, we're just kind of wandering blindly in this world, not connected to, that which could truly help us, guide us, let us know when there's going to be a true, natural disaster happening. Because, again, how many times do you see migrations of birds and animals when they know days in advance sometimes when something big is going to happen, and they leave the area? We could be doing the exact same thing. We could know. Just simply have this knowing that it's time to go from a certain area. I should not go to the beach today, or whatever it is. Again, this is why they disconnect us from the earth, because also they know she's going to ascend, and they don't want people ascending out of their dark matrix.
Right. They want a breakdown of everything, just to break down so that things can be separated, and we need to start pulling ourselves and each other up now.
Absolutely. So as always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.